Hi, I'm Debbie, and welcome to my organic garden. We're going to transplant sweet potatoes today.
All I have needs, I have not provided.
Did you watch my video about how to start sweet potatoes? One method is to start them in water. This one was started at the same time as another one that I started in some soil. And I just want to show you, I got 2 vines from it, and they took forever to get started. In fact, I panicked thinking it's never going to work. For some reason, this sweet potato is not sprouting vines. It didn't grow roots for a long time, and the little vines that were really tiny just sat there, and finally it took off. Let me show you what the ones in dirt did. This is the barrel where I planted the other sweet potato in dirt. Look how lush these plants are. Now, when the sweet potato that was in the water wasn't growing, I panicked and I went ahead and I planted more sweet potatoes. So I've got 2 more in this barrel and a couple in that barrel. And I'll have plenty of sweet potato slips to transplant out into the big garden, where they're going to take over half of my garden throughout the summer. And that's exactly what I want it to do. So let's go ahead and cut these off right down next to the potato where they came out. And we'll separate them out once we get to the garden. Get these plants moved out of where the little wild onions want to grow. That's it. That's a lot. You'll see. First thing you're going to want to do is just separate them out. Look how long that vine is. I'm just going to lay them out right now. Just do your best to separate them and lay them along the ditch. So now all you do is just bury the stem. As soon as you get them in the ground, especially when you're facing a hot day like today, you get them watered in. And you might even want to come back out late afternoon and water them in again. And you've got to keep them watered every day if necessary. Don't even let the soil get a little bit dry. All down those vines, you want the roots to form down the whole length of the vine that you just buried. Another reason you want to water them in is to seal up any air pockets that might be inside. So these have been planted May 11th, I think it is, and it will be the first part of November, maybe even the end of November before they're ready. It really does take that long. And I started them, I think, the first part of February. So it takes a long time for sweet potatoes to mature, but they're worth it. You can spare the space in your garden, plant sweet potatoes, but you got to plan ahead. So here's my strategy. I have sweet potatoes planted on this end of the garden. And I have sweet potatoes planted on this end of the garden. So 1, 2, 3 beds will be covered by these vines eventually. And well, I have one in the middle that may or may not get covered. And I've got 3 on the end that will be covered by the vines as they grow. They're going to grow throughout the whole summer, and they're going to make sweet potatoes as they branch out. I will have videos on how that happens. I might pop in and show you the progress over the summer and into the fall. But another strategy that I'm having here is I really just want root crops to grow here. So that means if sweet potatoes don't come up in this middle row or bed, I'll probably plant carrots there. We'll see. We'll see how this works out. I may put them in the back because next spring, the corn that's way back there is going to be grown up front. And so when you're planning on rotation crops, you've got to keep things moving around. And so you don't want to follow up root crops with root crops. So I may not use this bed for anything. We shall see. If you don't mind, hit the like button and subscribe. You're not going to want to miss out on all the stuff that I want to share with you that I've learned over the last 25 years or so of organic gardening. It's been a week since I planted these potato slips, and I wanted to show you what they look like. And don't be surprised if your sweet potato slips look pretty poor for a while. Just keep them watered. I watered mine twice a day, and now I'm going to put some mulch up around them. You can put mulch up around them right when you plant them. Just be sure that you're checking the soil really carefully. That soil can dry out even under the mulch, and the sweet potato slips need to be in moist soil until they get really good and established. Here's what they look like. They look pretty bad, don't they? But look here, that's a new leaf coming up. That's letting me know that there's roots underneath, and this vine is going to start growing soon. So that's one bed at the end of the garden. Remember, I put one bed of sweet potatoes at this end of the garden, and another bed at this end of the garden. Now these plants seem to be doing better, and I'm not real sure why. Maybe they get a little bit more shade. Look, see here, we've got growth right there. They're going to do just fine. And this is after a week. So don't be discouraged if they look pretty puny for a while. It just takes them a while to get their roots established and to get going. See here? There's some new leaves growing right there. What if you have sweet potato slips that are ready to plant, but your garden isn't ready, or maybe the weather isn't cooperating? You can go ahead and give those slips a head start by simply putting them in water. These have been in the water for 1 week, and look at all the roots they have. Now, I put some extra slips in the water as a backup plan, just in case some of the slips that I planted directly in the dirt doesn't make it. And I also have a bed that isn't ready yet, and so that's where I'm going to put these plants. When it's time to plant, just bury it that deep in the soil and be sure that you water it every day until you're sure that it's established and continues to grow. It's surprising how much water these leaves will take up through the roots. So monitor the water every day and be sure that you're keeping the level of the water up. Your plants will be off to a great start. The first year that I planted sweet potatoes, the exact same way that I've shown you, I got almost 100 pounds from just 2 sweet potatoes. I want to double that this year, and that explains why I went ahead and started more sweet potatoes. I want those sweet potatoes to cover half of my garden, and I will be uncovering them somewhere at the first part of November. I'll just have to watch the plants and see when is a good time to start harvesting sweet potatoes. Thanks for watching. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe because I have so much I want to share with you. Come on and garden with me through the seasons.
Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto